Hey everyone, this is Jerry, and welcome to a special playthrough of Pokemon Emerald. This is my first, well, not my first attempt at playing some sort of video game while recording it and recording my voice, but it is my first real, legitimate attempt, I would say. And as you might have gathered from the name of this video, it's a bit of a special run. Um, I always liked to do challenges on Pokemon games because I've played through them normally at least 3 times, especially this one. I've played through third gen many, 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 many times, and so I'm always looking for some sort of new challenge. And here, just name myself real quick. I don't remember my select button. And so I've one thing I do is solo runs. I've done a lot of solo runs in the past of a few different games. One I did of Sapphire using only a Kecleon, which is probably my favorite Pokemon. And but solo runs are usually pretty easy because the Pokemon level up really fast. And of course, this one, if you haven't gathered already, is a Jirachi run. But I'm doing a special kind of Jirachi run because it's going to be both low level and minimal healing items. And when I mean low level, I mean that I will be fighting only the trainers that are mandatory, only the ones I can't avoid. And by minimal healing items, I mean that I can't use any healing items in battle, with maybe the exception of one gym leader and the Elite Four, because it's pretty much impossible to solo the Elite Four low level without any healing items. So I'm going to be using a very powerful Pokemon, but with a low level restriction, and I can't heal, mostly because, for the most part, Jirachi can heal by itself. It starts off with Wish, and in this case Rest, because it's at level 5. So I see no real point in using these things when I can just use the moves. Of course, it does make it a little harder because I have to set up for the moves, and I don't know, I'm just setting the time randomly here. And so it adds another layer of challenge because I realize that the solo run with items, I can sit there and I can grind through it, and it's just not that challenging. And it's still possible, since Jirachi is really good and has a fantastic typing, to play through the game without using a whole lot of healing items. Because I'm just going through the basic rigmarole here, all the crap that no one cares about at the beginning of the game that I'm sure many of you have seen plenty of times before. And it takes forever. Alright. Okay. So, hopefully I should have enough time to actually get my Pokemon. And one interesting thing about this run is that the very first normal trainer, I should say, that you fight, at least I think it's the same way in Ruby and Sapphire, but at least in Emerald, has a Poochyena. And Jirachi starts off only with Rest, Wish, and Confusion. So that means to stick with my thing and not train up to level 10 when he learns Swift, I have to grind my Jirachi so that he has no more moves left and can only use Struggle. And I'll only have to do this twice. There are more Poochyena afterwards, but I only have to do this twice because there's one avoidable trainer, the one that you'll see in a second, and the unavoidable Aqua trainer, which is the next one right after it, third person you fight. And so I have to keep my Jirachi unhealed, but usually, since it's got really high base stats, I can take care of the Poochyena. And this will be right here. Let me see. It should be there. Yep, there it is. and I replaced Trico so that my rival can have Torchic, so she's at least a little bit harder. This will be the very last wild Pokemon I will fight in this run, aside from a Zigzagoon that I'll be capturing, which in my test file that I used to make sure that I actually can do this, I decided not to do it, and I didn't really feel like going back and tediously evading all the trainers on the beach. I had gotten all the way to Mauville, and I didn't really feel like going back and capturing one, because Zigzagoon is taken out of a lot of the routes around there. So anyways, as I was saying, this will be my Jirachi, and, right, where was I? Oh, right, and so, after those two Poochyena, going back to that, after those two Poochyena, I won't have to grind it. I won't have to, no, not grind. Well, yeah, no, I won't have to grind for struggle anymore, at least. But I will be doing that off screen. Don't worry, it's far too tedious to show to you. Okay, let's do nickname really quick. I named, in my test file, I named it this too, and I think I'm going to stick with this one. Alright, and, oops. Wish I remembered what my select button was. And so after that, I can just go through the rest of the game without having to use any items or having to do any of that kind of stuff. At least that's what I think. I've gotten through Watson on my test file. Oh, whoops. And so far, the first two gyms are easy. Watson, well, I won't spoil Watson. It's gonna be interesting though. Let's put it that way. And okay. So now we're just going through the first part. It's boring, unfortunately. It's what you have to do, and of course we run into wild Pokemon. Oh, and also rules about save states. I am not against using save states, and this thing where if you run into a Pokemon by accident, or you run into a trainer by accident that you know you can avoid, I really need to use save states. So we'll see. However, I don't really feel right about using save states in battles. I'm going to try to avoid it. The only time I might use save states, maybe, is in some particular gym battles, because there are gym battles that are close to impossible on low level, no healing. And you have to get really lucky. Luckily, Jirachi does have Serene Grace, so, like, confusion and other nice things, like paralysis that you might get, come a lot more frequently. And so you can sort of move along a little faster and not have to worry about sitting there and grinding and resting and wishing and doing all this stuff. But it's pretty difficult still. This is an interesting battle right here. Totally decimate. And this will probably be the last time I'll totally decimate something. Well, okay, not the last, but one of the few times I'll totally decimate something. As I said, I haven't really gotten past Watson, so I don't know exactly what Flannery will be about, but she's the one exception for pretty much all the rules that I'm planning on, except for low level, of course, because I might end up using healing items on her. I might end up using save states. We'll see about save states. Gym battles may, especially the harder ones, may be exempt, though I don't know. We'll see, because like Lisa and Tate in this one are extremely difficult because they have really good Pokemon, and I'm weak to ground and with Claydol and all that stuff, and but we'll see. I'm not entirely sure how well that'll work or what I'll be doing, but I'm going to try my best to avoid using save states. And, okay, hopefully I only have about a minute left, and I don't think I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit. It won't work very well since I am recording, but I want to at least try and get the Pokedex. Alright. Field work shows me. Oh, wow. Okay. And so, okay. I'm gonna stop it pretty soon here. Alright. So, okay. So, I'm going to go and grind my Jirachi to get rid of all his moves and get him to struggle so that we can face the first trainer of this game. And unfortunately, I have to struggle to do so. But, alright, so this is Jerry signing off. I'll see you next time.